At first, I triumphantly watched myself make sale after sale far more than had been credited to my account. For the first time in a month, I felt a sense of relief. I had evidence, and that had to count for something. I switched feeds to the camera nearer to the register so I could confirm that the codes were being scanned. I'd seen several scans successfully and reached to turn off the recording. That's when I saw it. Saw him. Kevin. It was subtle. I didn't realize what he was doing at first until I recognized the pattern. Even then, I had to rewind and watch again for it to click. It happened for nearly half of my sales that day. I saw him intercepting the customers before they could check out before I could get credit for my sales. And while he chatted them up, he discreetly slapped his employee barcode over my own. I confronted him that night. I was furious. He just smiled, smugly gave me that line about how the barcodes never lie. He didn't give a shit that he was sentencing someone else to death. Hell, maybe he even enjoyed it. Kevin had stolen credit for Gina's sales and God knows who else's. Fucking Kevin. The day our numbers were to be finalized, he had the audacity to place his barcode over mine on a huge sale he made no attempt at hiding it right in front of me. He flashed me a grin as he did. I caught up with the customers before they checked out, and they kindly allowed me to peel the sticker off. I stuck it in my pocket to show my manager. I pulled the video too, and I stormed into his office, refused to leave until he watched it. I studied him as his eyes moved across the screen, and if he was upset or shocked, he certainly didn't show it. Finally, he met my eyes, and at the sight of the pain in his well, for the first time, I felt a sense of relief. Until I realized why he looked so miserable. Until he whispered, "I'm sorry, Graham. Someone has to receive that award tomorrow. It's out of my hands." I wordlessly handed him the damn barcode sticker of Kevin's that I'd peeled off. He studied it for a long moment before he handed it back to me with a mere, "Why don't you hold on to this?" I told Elise what had happened over lunch, and as much as I appreciated her outrage on my behalf, I was already resigned to it. I'd mainly wanted to warn her, because I had a sick feeling she'd be the one Kevin went after next. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't devastated when, that night, my boss called me into his office and informed me of the final standings. Yeah, I knew it was coming, but I guess it's just human nature to hold on to denial hope until the bitter end. For what felt like an eternity, we stared at each other in silence. The presence of the pink slip of paper lying on the desk between us said more than enough. Finally, my eyes drifted down to the form. He'd already signed, but the space where my barcode, the series of vertical lines spelling out my death sentence should have been placed, was empty. I never knew how this part went, since it always took place behind closed doors. No one that ever filled out that form lived to tell the rest of us about it. "I need you to place a barcode here before I send the form to corporate," he said eventually. I opened my mouth for one final, impassioned plea for my life, but he interrupted me. He spoke each word slowly, softly,